He's got his cast, it says justice on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your bald ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit. And then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Tony Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't but Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh,
but actually, hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season, actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like, I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. It's fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
so follow a simp account.
Okay. Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually
networking.
follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't look at that stuff. It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got go fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unpretty.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
What?
This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest. You almost didn't.
Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right. Next up.
Unbelievable. Five head.
Next up, we have.
Why people happy? Pagu. Weird champ. Full weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad. What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay.
Why?
Why do people happy? KW, LOLW, XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. You were backstage.
Okay.
They're just like, yo, it's not gonna be a triple. It's not gonna be a
Yo,
normal.
dude, we're gonna do a fatal 4-way poggers, bro. Thanks for the fucking
God,
bits.
Fuck, damn it! Jump off a roof.
Well, they just lost Gunther, so I don't know how that is gonna survive. But what's it called? But the Third Reich faction. That's Imperium's gonna turn to the Third Reich now. But he posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says "Justice" on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in a drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Tony Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't but Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
But
actually,
hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. It's fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually
networking.
follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a Stan account, you got to follow the other Stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't
It's
look
a
at that
business
stuff.
decision.
It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got so fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
What?
This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest, you almost didn't.
Weird champ. Weird champ.
It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It is time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. Mike is out again. He has some stuff that he was doing, so it's just with the OGs today. I am the Outlaw Zach. You're joined by the Goon himself, Christian. We don't got a lot of news to cover, so that's a good thing. So it could be a nice and easy stream for y'all. So, I'm going to kick it over to Christian, and we can kick off the news.
Yep. So First off, for the news, kind of a light week, but what was there was very important. And first off, we'll talk about that out of the blue, kinda, on the Thursday, then the day after we did the show last week. They announced that All In next year will be taking place in Texas, at the Globe Life Field. It's in Arlington. It's right next to AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. Literally just like a parking lot over from it. It's where the Texas Rangers play. It's their stadium. So it's like a big time. It's like a big baseball stadium. It's a brand new building too. And from what I've seen of it, it's a gorgeous looking building. Um, but yeah, they did a huge press conference about it. Tony was there, the mayor of Arlington, a bunch of the talent, Swerve, Athena, Mercedes, Darby, uh, Dustin Rhodes was there, uh, Tony Storm that was. So they did a bunch of media for it already, and it's confirmed that that All In will be headed to Texas next year, and to me, that's a direct response to a WWE. They're probably gonna run Wembley next year for SummerSlam, which uh, well, actually, no, not next year. But they're probably gonna run Wembley for something next year, maybe, or something around the area, same time frame. Um, but but yeah, we'll see. We'll
Well,
see how that works out. But Tony did say they will be returning to Wembley, in 2026, and it wouldn't be for All In. It'd be for something different. So we'll
isn't
see what that is.
also the same Saturday as All In, WWE is running a house show up the road as well. Like
Oh yeah,
the exact same like time frame and everything.
yeah. I think that they're doing a house show. That really shouldn't. I mean, that just depends on fan if what you're a fan of. I mean,
Oh yeah, of course.
a house show isn't gonna take precedent. If you're like like a fan that likes both, chances are you're probably gonna go to the big pay-per-view rather than a house show. So it's
All
really not
depends
that
on
big
how
a
they
deal.
build the house show, because sometimes those house
Yeah,
shows are
they'll stack that house show for
yeah.
sure. But but that just does a lot better for the people going that aren't fans of AEW and that are going to that house show. So very excited to see how that works out next year. I mean, that's a year away, so it's not really much to talk about here.
Yeah.
But but they were eyeing as well a stadium for Australia as well, AEW that is. So we'll see. We haven't heard nothing about that. So well, that's still up in the air. But other than that, it was just they had a whole press conference about it, a bunch of the talent, and that it's going to be earlier than, oh, it's going to be in July, next year instead of, let me get an exact date. The date I believe is July 12th, so that's basically over a full month before uh what it usually where
Hey,
All In usually is. So
that's a
so
good thing
to
for the paycheck people who are pretty much going, oh, I had to go from all in
well
to all out within a
Well,
short amount
I
of
don't.
time.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. I think they might just swap. They might have just swapped the placement of All In and Forbidden Door. Um,
Okay,
I think
that's
that
fair.
might be the. I think they literally could just swap the pay per view. Uh, so instead of All In All Out, and it'd be Forbidden Door All Out. Um, which to be honest, I could see actually working a little bit better because obviously there's a lot of people who don't follow New Japan, and it's more of a hardcore heavy show. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of storylines going into Forbidden Door, but like there's a lot of matches that are tailor made for hardcores and what they want to see. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I mean, you're missing a lot, but it's not like you're missing as much as you would for a core AEW show. So I can see that working out. But besides that, that's really all there is to it on the AEW All in Texas. Excited to see how that shakes out. I mean, I knew something when they announced that they were gonna do the Path to All In Summer Series at the Esports Stadium for Collision. That something had to be in the works, and then the rumors started going off about them wanting to do a stadium show in Dallas or Arlington, and I'm like, all right, well, there's a reason why they had
they stayed for a month and a half in Texas because they're obviously prepping them for something. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what's going on there. But
Which
yeah, we'll
the
see how that shakes out in a year.
the collision stuff for the esports arena in Texas, that's been working out really great for them. I love the stage setup.
Yeah, I really like the stage. I really enjoy that venue. It's very intimate, very loud.
Yeah, I think
They've never ran wrestling before, which is cool.
I
So
think
it's a
going
newer
back
stadium.
to I'm trying to get a proper website that has decent lighting on my face. 'Cause I'm not turning my TV on, nor am I reaching for my light. So, what has decent lighting? Yeah, school's webpage. There we go. But no, it's like I think going back to smaller, more intimate arenas, depending on the state that they go into, would be nice.
Well,
Because like
that all
I think of like the Bojangles Arena that's like down the road from me, is like it was a nice intimate crowd. You're like
Yeah,
it's
well-
small, it's good.
Well, see, a lot of people say that, and which I agree with. If for like a collision, like I think smaller arenas for collision will work if they're not taping collision with
Yeah.
Dynamite. But I like people say, oh, why don't they run smaller crowds? Like if like they have a show where the stadium's half full, half empty. The reason for that is if you have a walk up and if you have a last minute ticket push, they rather sell maybe 100 more tickets
Mm-hmm.
on that side rather than sell out a smaller arena. So that's really why they do
'Cause
it.
what, like-
That's the philosophy behind it.
Because Grand Slam last year still had walk ups, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So it's like if they did a smaller arena, then there is no more walk ups. There's no
Yeah.
more last minute pushes. There's no more opening up new sections.
Mm-hmm.
In a bigger arena, they could do that. They're still doing it for Wembley right now. Because for the last 3 days, about 600 tickets have been moving like each day.
That's
So they've
really
been open.
good.
So they've been opening up new sections. And that's obviously you knew that was going to happen because obviously the people wait and people want to and ticket prices go down near the time of the show and people make decisions. But yeah. But anyway, besides that, the only news here is we got the finale of the G1 Climax happened, and the entire playoffs happened last week, and it was excellent. It was when I really hope they keep this format. I like I like the 40 men tournaments that they did for a couple of years, but I think they maybe like every 10 years they should do something like that. I don't think they should be doing that every year, but I'm glad they went back to the 20-man blocks. I meant the 10-man blocks and the 20-man tournament. I enjoyed this tournament. It was one of the most different G1s I've ever seen. Obviously, because of the lack of top guys that have left, like Ospreay and Okada, Jay White. I mean, it's the second year out, but Jay White as well. Tama Tonga not there. Hikuleo not there. Tangaloa not there. Alex Coughlin not there. So it really made a guys step up. And it gave chances for a lot of younger guys to put on great matches, and that's exactly what happened.
Any of the matches I should like go out of my way to watch, because I wasn't. This was the first G1 I wasn't able to fully watch because of work.
So I'm literally not trying to say this like to try to glaze the guy, but this has been basically, if you even go on like the New Japan subreddit or any forums that discuss New Japan, literally every single one of Takeshita's matches are like were must see. He was, in my opinion, Takeshita was the MVP of the entire G1, the absolute MVP. His matches were unreal. The best match in the tournament, in my opinion, was him versus El Phantasmo. Him versus El Phantasmo was they were not comparing it to Okada Omega, but they were like saying like they saw flashes of that match within that match, and this was just a match in a court in Korakuen Hall that was literally I think the third match. Like literally, there's 5 matches on the show. There was literally the third match. I'm like, that's how it was just fucking unreal. That match was unbelievable. Gabe Kidd, he had a stellar tournament. All his matches were fantastic. Yota Tsuji had a great tournament. Um, Obviously guys like Zack Sabre Jr. And even Finley brought it this tournament. He really had a great tournament.
Mhm.
But just going back to what we were speaking about here, but we had the playoffs that started with the quarterfinals. It was Shingo Takagi versus Shingo Takagi versus. Why am I blanking? Why am I blanking? I literally watched this. Yeah. Hold on. Why am I blanking? Oh yes, excuse me. That's why. Shingo Takagi versus Great Okan, and whoever won that went to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. And then Shingo ended up winning that. And then they had Zack versus Shingo, which was an excellent match as well. Zack ended up picking up the victory and advancing up to the finals. And then in the B block qualifiers, they had Yota Tsuji versus Konosuke Takeshita, which was a rematch from night one after Takeshita beat him in night one. And Yota Tsuji got his win back. Another great fucking match. Takeshita, I mean, he was just unreal this entire tournament, but Tsuji moved on. And then he had Tsuji versus Finley, which was another great match. It was the longest match in Tsuji's career up to that point. And then Tsuji ended up beating Finley, and then that cemented the finals being Yota Tsuji versus Zack Sabre Jr. in an excellent G1 final. A very different G1 final because every single man who was in the tournament qualifier has never won the G1 before. So it was the first time since 2019 when Kota Ibushi won it that we were going to get a new winner. And they had a excellent match. Went about 31 minutes. Is the longest match Tsuji's ever had. Zach was unbelievable in the match, just with the psychology and how he was working. But my prediction came true. It was the first time I predicted somebody to win the G1 and actually did it. And I didn't think they would do it because of where this was like where seemingly it was going. Like my heart wanted Zach, but my brain said Tsuji because Tsuji and Naito is a big time match.
Yeah.
But they did it.
Well, it's
And
like
Zach,
someone had pointed out that like no matter what with between Zack Sabre Jr. and Yota Tsuji, whoever won would have made history with
oh yeah,
because what Yota Tsuji would have been the first one to do.
Suji would have been the first. He would have been the first young lion. No, he's not a young lion, but he would have been the first like young lion that's this. He would have won it this fast.
And also like
Out of
he
excursion.
had what he won the
He won the New Japan Cup this
Yeah.
year, so nobody has ever won the New Japan Cup and the G1 in the same year. But on Zach's end, he'd be the first
Gaijin.
United Kingdom, England,
Yeah.
English-born man to win the G1. Let alone he would become the second ever non-Japanese person to win the G1, right behind Kenny Omega back in 2016. But they did it. Zack Sabre Jr. Verbally submitted Yota Tsuji with one of the craziest looking submissions I've ever seen. I mean, he literally looked like he turned the fucking guy into like a Thanksgiving turkey, like how they wrap him up and like I've never seen it. He had every single one of this guy's limbs pinned down and he couldn't even tap with his hands.
That's crazy.
It was magical. It was a magical fucking submission hold. And Zack Sabre Jr. won the G1 climax. He's the second ever non-Japanese person to win the G1. First ever person from the UK, and the first person of his faction, TMDK, to win that tournament. I thought it was an excellent decision. I'm glad they did it. This is what I wanted. As soon as Okada and not even Okada, but as soon as Ospreay and Jay White left, the lack of a top foreign roster member was very apparent. And obviously I mean, Finley's grown on a lot of people, and it's been taking a while for Finley to grow on people. I think Finley has come into his own, and you got guys like the Wardogs, but they're a lot earlier in their career than Finley is.
Yeah.
But Zach has been there forever. He has no desire to leave. He lives there. He doesn't want to leave. He said he wants to devote his life to New Japan. He was the guy. I said this I said this literally after Ospreay left. I'm like, listen, they need to put all their chips in Zach's bag and have him be the top foreign guy in the company because he's not gonna. He literally stayed through the entire pandemic. You got to reward something like that because he's not going anywhere, and he's one of the greatest. And in my opinion, him and Bryan Danielson are the best technical wrestlers that's ever lived.
Yeah.
But Zach won the G1, huge celebration. The crowd went fucking crazy for this guy. Japanese people getting loud for a guy like Zach and his style and who he is. That's how you know how much they trust him and how much they love him over there. But Zach wins the G1, and it came home, and he announced that he doesn't want his title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. So this was the thing that has caused a lot of not drama, but like a lot of uproar in the New Japan community because now this is the first time in years that we don't have a clear picture of what's happening beyond a month because Zach wants his title match with Naito at the King of Pro Wrestling show in October, which is unprecedented. It's usually always the G1 winner gets a briefcase and has to defend it up until Wrestle Kingdom. Until they have their match in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Zach doesn't want it. Zach wants to wrestle Naito at King of Pro Wrestling, and that's what he's gonna get. Naito's gonna have to defend against Great Khan first, which he's gonna beat Great Khan. But Zach and Naito is gonna happen at King of Pro Wrestling, and that I have no clue. I don't know if Zach's gonna win that match. I don't know. I don't think he will, to be honest, but there's also another caveat. Zach, first off, Naito would walk into Wrestle Kingdom as the champ this year, which I think they would want. Plus, there's another factor with Hiromu Takahashi. He's about to challenge Hinari for the Never Openweight Championship, and they have been trying to do Hiromu versus Naito for years, and they were gonna do it. They had the match booked in 2020, but then COVID hit, and they still haven't done the match. That is one of the biggest money matches New Japan still has yet to do. And yes, Hiromu's a junior, but Hiromu's the only person in the junior division that has the capability of main eventing Wrestle Kingdom. He's that popular. But so it's either they're gonna do that as the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, or Zach wins the belt from Naito, and then the next pay-per-view after the King of Pro Wrestling pay-per-view is Royal Quest, which is their show in England. So it would be perfect timing to put the belt on Zach before Royal Quest, and Zach walks into the main event of that show as the champion, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, in his home nation. So it's literally could go either way. I don't know what they're gonna do. They could always take the belt. They could give it to Zach and take it right off him. But I doubt they're gonna give Zach's first ever title reign as the world champion because he's never been the world champion yet. I doubt they're gonna give him a fucking 2-month reign and just drop it right back to Naito. There is no 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom. It's Wrestle Kingdom and then Wrestle Dynasty, which is like basically a forbidden door. So I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen here. But we'll see. But congratulations to Zach. So happy for him. He's been working his ass off. He's been busting his ass for years, doing a style that most 99% of pro wrestlers can't even do. And he's the best at it. So congratulations to Zach. But besides that, the last bits of news here is that the motherfucking Costco guys might be appearing at AEW All Out in Chicago, which for people that don't know, you're gonna think we're brain dead or have autism, but for people like us who know, this is fucking awesome.
And for people who don't know who the Costco guys are, because you've been living on the rock, it's a father and son duo. They went viral for a video from Costco when like the kid was like, we're Costco guys, of course we get the chicken bake. And then the father goes in, we're Costco guys, of course we try the new double chunk chocolate chip.
A double chunk chocolate cookie.
Double chunk chocolate cookie.
Yeah, so
So
all right, so basically, yeah, so that's really the gist of it. It was a viral TikTok meme, and then these guys blew up. They have this review series called Boom or Doom. So like they'll review like
you
a
got the
food.
Rizzler
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. They'll review like a food, and then they'll give it like fucking 3 out of 5 booms, or they'll give it a doom. And then there's this little fat kid named the Rizzler, who's not even related, but he looks like a mob boss, and he always mews. He always does that. But yeah, he's like a mob boss type character, and then they got cousin Angelo with a piece of provolone. They got a whole family. This is involved in. They got a
Mm-hmm.
sister, a mother. They got cousins, friends. It's a lot of shit going on in the Costco verse. But but yeah, but that was the funny thing about this too. When I learned about these guys and I saw Big AJ for the first time, um, I'm like, this fucking guy, you know something?
Yeah,
Something about me says this is a carny motherfucker, and this guy has had to be involved in wrestling somehow. And lo and fucking behold, this guy used to be an indie professional wrestler. He's retired. He's been retired for a couple years now. He used to be an indie wrestler, and just no, I mean, I fucking knew it. I like, yeah, somebody this gimmicky has
Mm-hmm.
to be involved, had to be involved in wrestling. You can't escape it. And then Justin Wang makes a video about it. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of characters at play here, but this has been like this has been like the over the last month the biggest meme on the internet. So if the AEW could capitalize on this, I think that's just insanely smart because why not? Literally, why not? The NXT and TNA are doing it right now with Joe Hendry. So if they could get fucking Big AJ in there and take a bump or two from whoever, imagine you have
I have a
fucking the
feeling
Rizzler. I have a feeling it's gonna be fucking Big AJ, Big Justice,
and like
and the Rizzler.
Christian.
Yeah, and then the fucking Christian and them gonna come out, and he's gonna say, "Big Justice, your father is a failure."
He
So you're gonna
couldn't
have the
cut it
cost.
as an indie wrestler, and he can't cut it as a content creator.
Yeah. So and then he's gonna shoot and kill Big AJ. But no, I think listen, all I need is the lights to go out, and then the lights come back on, and the fucking Rizzler's standing right there, and then he does one of these, and then fucking MJF shits himself in the ring, and that's it. But or they throw a chicken like DQ by Chicken Bake or double chunk chocolate cookie. This is the fucking stupidest shit ever, but it's fucking funny and it's a meme and it'll get views, and that's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
See,
Um,
when it was announced that cause you had shared it on Tuesday that they were gonna do stuff with cause Big AJ the dad talked saying yeah we're working on stuff with a legitimate pro wrestling company. I'm like, okay, it might be TNA. They're probably
I thought it
doing
was gonna be
something.
TNA or like GCW or something like that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we're gonna be in Chicago or like in around September, and the fucking group chat blew up. We're like, oh fuck.
Nah, fuck. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Then
Let's do
also,
it.
you have an interview from Fightful with Tony Khan. Tony Khan's wearing the fucking HBO Max hat, looking completely fucking stoned off his ass.
I mean, the guy's going into the biggest weekend of
Dude,
the year.
as I said, like he looks like me when I walk up to the McDonald's employee just to pick up my food on my Wednesdays when I get stoned. That's about
But
it.
yeah,
Uh,
this shit here, we'll see if it happens or not. But
if it happens, it's going to be the thumbnail of the video when we go live. So
it'll probably be a boom, not a doom. Very excited to see Big AJ, Big Justice, and hopefully.
oh my god, you got to get the
hopefully the
Rizzler and
fucking
fucking
Rizzler.
Stokely. Oh no.
No, you put the Rizzler up against the top fucking guy in the company. All right.
Yeah, Stokely.
Stokely ain't no goddamn top guy.
Stokely's
Unfortunately.
he's gonna give fucking Tomohiro Ishii a goddamn burning hammer off the apron.
Nigga, him and Tomohiro Ishii are going 45 fucking minutes. That pre-show is 2 hours. They're doing fucking 2-hour Iron Man match. Him and Ishii. It's gonna be like Shibata and fucking Okada. And
Hey, I
the
believe him
Nippon Budokan.
when he says he's gonna give Tomohiro Ishii a burning hammer off the apron.
yeah, we'll see. Stokely. Let's see if you can give him a fucking arm drag.
Man, all right. So, let's jump into the show. This is the go
This is
home
one of the
show.
best go home shows they've done in
I
maybe
think
ever.
out of everything, the only thing I had spoiled for me was Okada and Claudio.
I
That's
did
the
not have anything spoiled.
That's the only thing I had spoiled for me.
I didn't have anything spoiled. However, there was something I wanted to touch upon before we get into the show here. Is that there was a dark match before the
Yes.
show featuring Michael Oku and Amira, and that's big time because there's been rumors about Oku and Amira signing with the company, which I think they have by now probably. But it's kind of been kept hush hush. He even was asked about it in an interview, and he kind of gave a really coy answer about it. But listen, he got an unreal reaction. He got a big time pop in the Oku and Amira. They both posted on Instagram and Twitter videos of backstage and when they came out, they got a big reaction. He had a dark match with Serpentico, but yeah. I really am excited to see Oku in AEW, and I don't think that's the last we're going to see of him this week.
Yeah.
Just saying. But besides that, the show started
with the contract signing between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and the CEO, Mercedes Moné. And there was a stipulation of these women cannot have any physical altercations during this contract signing. Britt had a good line saying, "You were one of 4 that made it. I'm a 1 of 1."
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
I like that. They were going back and forth. This was actually a very strong promo segment between the two. But yeah, it's just hyping up the match. I mean, they didn't really have to do anything that wasn't already done before. They've already done the beatdowns and the pull aparts. So this little promo segment is the last little push they needed. Mercedes was basically telling Britt, "Hey, you can't beat me. You wanted to be me. You looked up to me." And Britt basically retorted saying, "I know. I want you to be that woman that I look up to, and that's who I want to beat at Wembley." And they agreed to no physicality here, but Britt ended up. There was no physicality clause against Camille, so Britt ended up attacking Camille, and then ended up Mercedes ended up get caught up in the crossfire. But that's how the segment ended. But it was a very strong segment from the two. I enjoyed it. It got its job done.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't the best promo segment of the show, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big time TBS title match. So we'll get there, and we'll see what shakes out for All In.
What was after this? I didn't really take my notes for.
After this, we had the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith in the back with Renee, just basically saying Jericho was basically talking shit on Tommy Billington and saying how you're probably not as good as the Dynamite Kid. You really ain't shit. And here comes Jericho, and this next up we just had Jericho versus Tommy Billington. Tommy Billington has been signed by the company, I believe. So yeah. But this was very good. I thought this was a good match. Tommy, he's very, very impressive. For a younger guy. I mean, this guy, every time he's just a fucking. It's scary how much of a dead ringer he is for the original Dynamite Kid. It's oh my Lord have mercy. He's literally just a smaller version of him. But yeah, these two had a fine match. Jericho ended up winning. Jericho ended up winning with a codebreaker, when he caught Billington trying to attempt a flying headbutt. And Jericho, after this, gets on the mic. He starts talking shit about Hook, because it is confirmed that him and Hook are going to be wrestling at All In for the FTW title. But as soon as Hook hits the ring, Big Bill ends up giving him a big choke slam, and he's going to wrestle Big Bill on Collision on Saturday. So that's how that segment ended. And after that, we had Toni Storm and Saraya, because Saraya, which was actually funny, never got her title rematch after she lost the title back to Toni Storm. Never got it. So she got it now.
Oh well.
And She lost, but yeah, Tony dropped her on her head with the Storm Zero. There's a piece of news with Soraya. Soraya's deal is coming up, and apparently they've discussed an extension. That'll be settled when it's settled.
Yeah,
There's not really a big
that
thing
should
right
be
now.
no problem.
But what's it called? But yeah, after this, Tony is in the ring celebrating, and Mariah May comes out and attacks her from behind. I'm kind of glad they didn't do anything really crazy with her and Mariah because I think the match has already set themselves up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very excited. That's one of the matches I'm very much looking forward to, at All In, because that is going to be the biggest match of Mariah's career, and it's paying. It's the first time these two are wrestling after this gigantic, great feud they've had.
It's gonna be a really good match. I think maybe outside of Jack and Darby and Swerve and Brian, that's another one I'm really excited for.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is probably the best story wise. This at the top of the card for this.
I think your
pay-per-view.
mic switched to your webcam, just so you know.
Is it better now?
Yes.
But at the top of the card for this pay-per-view, the three core main stories, and for the matches are really strong with Brian and Swerve, Osprey and MJF, and Tony and Mariah. I put Tony and Mariah up there as one of the top matches for this card. Absolutely. But yeah, I think every match has been built up very, very well, for this pay-per-view. So very excited, for Tony and Mariah. But after this, we had a backstage promo with the conglomeration, which was Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii, Willow Nightingale, and Orange Cassidy. Willow's like the female representative of the conglomeration. I love how the conglomeration just has a new person every week. Because why the fuck not? It's a conglomeration. I mean, you know, niggas got to be down to conglomerate. So, but yeah, fucking Mark, he's going off. I think the word of the day was pontification or something like that. So he was gonna pontificate. Kyle started speaking in a fucking British accent. Ishii, he doesn't give a shit. Willow's enjoying all this, and Orange cannot be bothered.
Orange is going down his dark era where he's wearing the dark clothes again.
Yeah. But yeah, this was good. This was good. They're just hyping up what they're doing. We'll see. We didn't really have any collision match announcements yet, besides like one. But
I thought there was also like a qualifier match for the trio for the final spot. At all.
Well, yeah. That's the only one I was talking about.
Outside of Hook and Big Bill.
Yeah, it's that and what's it called? It's gonna be Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac, versus Top Flight and Leo Rush for the last spot.
Top Flight also got a whole repackage.
Yeah, they did.
It looks kind of cool. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, it was a little goofy when I saw it, but I'm like, it's all right. I liked Layla Gray as their like flight attendant. I think that's cool. But yeah, it's whoever wins that match is gonna get into the Fatal 4-Way trios ladder match at Wembley. I think Pac, I could see Top Flight actually winning that match and getting in there, but I don't think they're gonna leave Pac off that show and Claudio. But there's something else that could happen that I might think of. But yeah, I do want to get to this now. Since we're talking about the Casino Gauntlet. We're about to talk about the Casino Gauntlet. The Casino Gauntlet. I guess we'll just mention this now, because Hangman already just claimed his spot. He attacked Evil Uno after he said he was going to be in it. I don't think Evil Uno is going to end up being in it. But Hangman is now in the Casino Gauntlet, so that's two we know of. It's going to be Hangman. It's going to be Orange Cassidy. But
Evil Uno also was dressed as like Mankind.
Well, that's what he's been wrestling in for the past couple of months now.
Okay.
On Ring of Honor. But the lineup for because we know like the cap for the Casino Gauntlet is like 20 or 21 guys. I don't think you're gonna see all of them. But I do think I have a good idea of who's gonna be in it. Obviously we already know Orange and Hangman. I think everybody's majorly who's a major figure in the company that's not doesn't have a match is gonna end up in that match. I think Moxley's gonna end up in there. I think Jay White, because Jay White said he's been cleared from injury. I think Jay's gonna end up in that match. I think if they don't do something with Okada and Claudio again, I think Okada will end up in that match. I think Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly are going to end up in the match. Shibata's going to end up in the match.
With this being Casino,
Brian
is this
Cage.
gonna be the
No, it's the Casino Gauntlet.
Okay, because I was
like,
thinking
it's the
of,
fun
the
one that
card
everyone
suit.
loves.
Okay, I was thinking of the
that's
card
the Casino
suits.
Battle Royal.
Okay.
I think I think Ricochet is going to debut in that match. I think Michael Oku is going to be in that match.
Grado.
I maybe I don't think so, but maybe. I think Takeshita will be in that match as well. Maybe even Roosh and Kyle Fletcher. And I think that's really about all I could think of right now. I think there probably will be others in the match as well, along with those guys, but like surprises that we're not thinking of. But yeah. I think those guys will end up in that match somewhere. Every major name that doesn't have a match on Wembley is probably going to end up there.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys that I said could be out after the rest of the pre-show line. It's a 2-hour pre-show, so there's going to be at least probably 3 or 4 more matches announced for it.
It's gonna be a long fucking day.
But yeah. But after this, we had Claudio Castagnoli versus Kazuchika Okada for the Continental Championship, and this was an excellent match. I really enjoyed this match. This is Okada to a T. Start slow, end fast, love it. But the best thing about this was it ended in a time limit draw, which I was not expecting, and I love time limit draws, even though, because it's funny, some of the greatest matches you'll ever see are time limit draws. And this was a great fucking
They
match.
definitely have to run this back at All In, right?
Well, if Claudio, Pac, and Wheeler win that match, they're gonna end up in the ladder match.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't see them winning that
unless I actually do see them, because I don't think they're gonna leave Claudio. I think they'd rather have Claudio and Pac on the show and leave off Top Flight. However, they could do something where Claudio fucks over. I mean, not Claudio. Okada fucks over Claudio in that match, and then Yuta and Top Flight advances to the ladder match, and they do Claudio and Okada again at All In. But do you want to do the same match 3 days later? And then they just put Pac and Yuta in the fucking casino. We'll see. I don't think I think if they were gonna do the match at All In, they would have done it. They would have done it already. Well, not done already. I think they would have just waited till the pay-per-view. So I think Okada and Claudio are probably going to end up in the Casino Gauntlet. But that could change come Collision and Rampage. We don't know yet. But anyway, this was a great match. Went to time limit draw. Claudio tried to get Okada back in the ring after he gave him a just really crazy uppercut. But Okada stalled him out because he knew the time limit was coming after the 1 minute time call. So it went to a time limit draw. The crowd started chanting for 5 more minutes. But the Young Bucks come out, said it was how great of a match it was, and they said, no, we're not giving you 5 more minutes. Okada, it was in his contract that he's only wrestling 20 minutes.
Not 25.
So, yeah, so sorry. So they told Claudio to get the fuck out of the ring before we move.
I would have laughed if Matthew would have been like, we also got TV time, man. Come on. We can't do another 5 minutes of this.
Yeah.
But this was a really fun. It was a fun match. I enjoyed it. Then even in the trios match, it was really fun.
Yeah. So after this, so the Bucks and Jack Perry come out, and then here comes Darby Allin and FTR. They were singing FTR's song, which was crazy.
Also, Jack Perry has his own title, and he made it himself.
Yes. Which
And-
was badass. If you watch the video of it,
Mhm.
it was fucking awesome.
He melted his own silver or steel, whatever it is that he used for it. He painted it. He plated it. Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's extremely talented. This and like their behind the scenes that he did when he lit himself on fire he didn't lit himself on fire, but when he did for the video when he was practicing the spot for the Double or Nothing spot, the guy's a very creative and innovative guy.
Like a long that happened maybe like a few months before the Double or Nothing spot.
Yeah.
And it's like what they're doing is so cool.
Yeah. He's a really talented. I mean, I get it too because the way his upbringing, when you grow up around Hollywood and stunts and all that type of stuff, you probably get a knack for it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, this literally well, actually, hold on. I don't know why it's like this on the website, but we skipped over the entire MJF Osprey thing. I don't know why I skipped that on the thing. But yeah, Osprey and MJF
see, that's why Mike's got to be here.
It's not even this. It's just why I don't know why they upload the entire fucking the entire I usually go by the Twitter feed of AEW. They just put it.
The Twitter feed's busted sometimes. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But yeah. MJF and Will Ospreay, they have a fantastic promo segment. Security surrounding the entire thing. Ospreay's basically telling MJF, "Hey, listen. The only reason, listen, nobody loves you. The only reason that excuse me, like you're nothing at this point. You fucked this place up. This place was built on pro wrestling and how the in-ring work and being an alternative with where wrestling comes first, but you came in and we saw you as champion and you were nothing of the sort. You were playing games, the double clothesline.
What took you 4 months to get over? Took me 4 weeks.
Yeah, Tony Khan had to call me to have a great match because he couldn't rely on his top champ. But MJF retorted saying how Warner Bros. Discovery and Tony Khan had to call him and said, "Hey, you need to come here and save this and clean up Ospreay's mess." He told Ospreay that he doesn't care about the people because the people are stupid, and that they're stupid because they like your matches. He doesn't need all the flips and all that stuff. And all this restore the feeling stuff. Because he's the fact, and facts don't care about your feelings. And then he went really deep near the end, and he basically said, "I had a chat with your wife, Alex Windsor, in the back."
Ooh.
And he said, listen, he's like, "Be quiet, I'm putting you over." He's like, she had a relationship with another person and had a child with that other person, which that's a real thing. I believe, I believe, the reason is because her husband ended up passing away. Is the reason why like she's with Ospreay and he's the stepfather now. So I think that's the reason. I believe I believe Ospreay said that somewhere. That her husband ended up passing away a couple years ago. But Ospreay took the kid as his own, and he's raising him, which is a really noble and really cool thing to do. But MJF goes up to Ospreay and says, "Well, listen, after the conversation I just had with her in the back, I think she's gonna have another kid, and you ain't gonna be the father of that child either." And Ospreay turns around, he goes over to Shivani and goes, "Hey, Shivani,
Tony Khan here."
Asked Tony Khan how much the fine is, and he said 127,000 pounds. And he says,
Sterling
"You know what?"
Silver.
He's like, "You know what? It's worth it." And he starts beating up MJF. They start going out. They get pulled apart. MJF ends up getting the better of him and gives him a brain buster. And then MJF picks him back up, and he's about to hit the Tiger Driver, but he didn't. But he couldn't get it off because Christopher Daniels and the rest of the security stopped him. But yeah. Great promo segment.
Oh yeah,
and fantastic. Ospreay got bloodied up in the beatdown. Great stuff. But back to what we were talking about. Great trios match in the main event. Big time spot match. It felt like a PWG match, which is not a bad thing at all. But it was a great match. FTR and Darby ended up winning with the Powerplex coffin drop combo. So, but what's it called? But yeah, they're really laying it on that this like at All In, there's gonna be a lot of play with the Elite and like I mean they were all on Team AEW, but I'm not gonna get into predictions now, but I think there's a reason why what happened tonight for the show on Sunday. But before that, the Acclaim come out, they start cutting a promo on FTR and the Bucks. And yeah, they just hype it up. I think they've done a lot more in Collision. FTR and the Acclaimed have. They just had that great 30-minute time limit draw on Collision last week. But yeah, just hype up the match, the triple threat for All In. So very excited for that. But after this, we had Will Ospreay in the back, all bloodied up, being about to be interviewed by Renee. But up comes Bryan Danielson and says, "Do it." And he's like, "I saw what happened out there. Do it." And then Ospreay just looks at him and he nods. So basically, what Danielson told him, do the Tiger Driver, do the move. The reason Ospreay didn't want to do it is because he hurt Danielson. Danielson, literally the guy who got hurt by the move, is going up to him and telling him, do the fucking move. So that was great. That was a great thing to bridge the two main events. That was really cool. They didn't even have to do that, and I thought that was really cool. But this brought us to our closing segment between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson, moderated by Nigel McGuinness. I mean, that was a little suspect to begin with. This is like, I mean, regardless of your politics, this is like when they get CNN to do the presidential debates, and they got a CNN moderator debate, like moderating for Trump and Biden. It's like, listen, I'm not trying to get political here, but obviously there's a little thing at play here. Yeah. You got the guy talking shit on him all 365 days a year. Now he's gonna moderate. It's like, all right. So, but literally, Swerve comes out first. Nigel starts interviewing him.
Well, no. Nigel says this is the most dangerous man alive, has the career year, and then says Swerve Strickland comes out, and then goes, and now let me introduce his opponent. But actually, first, I gotta talk to you, Swerve. Says like you're doing good work, you're dangerous. You carry the company on your back, and Swerve's like, yeah, you're right. And then it's just a long promo just to get Bryan out to have his send off speech, because he was wearing his same attire that he retired in on Raw. Because you pointed that out.
Yeah, so I noticed this during the backstage segment, because I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but he's wearing basically the same shirt, or it's a very similar shirt.
It's the same shirt.
Yeah, to what he wore for when he retired the first time in Seattle, back when he had all those concussions back in WWE. So yeah, I thought that was crazy. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy attention to detail. But yeah, very, very cool stuff from Bryan to do that. But Bryan comes out and he starts running. He runs down Swerve. Swerve gets out of the ring, and then Bryan gets the mic, and he's basically saying, "You want to cripple me in front of my daughter? You want to retire me? You want to do all this? Did you forget who I am? I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world." And he basically gives a giant mission statement what he's gonna do at All In. He's not gonna be retiring. He's going to win the AEW championship because he's the American fucking dragon. I'm like, this was a fantastic closing promo, go home promo from Bryan Danielson for this main event. This was unreal. And I got me so hyped. And afterwards, he drops the mic and he just starts doing the yes chant. He starts doing the yes chant, maybe for the last time. But I am so fucking excited for this main event because literally it's so ambiguous. You don't know actually. Literally, the way he's been speaking, the way it's been going, I have no clue who's gonna win this match. Zero.
You know,
And that's a lot of the matches on this card that are very unpredictable.
I think maybe give or take one or two. Like, this card is very unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean it's really something else. So we'll see. But we'll get into more of that on our predictions streams though.
Yeah. But that will do it. The wrestler of the week, fucking, I'll give it to Dynamite Kid, Tommy Bilden.
For me, I'm gonna give it to Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1 finally. Great shit. Love Zack.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we will catch you guys Saturday following Collision. Ideally, it all depends on how. I think my D&D session that I do every Saturday should be done by then. I'm a nerd. Go figure. So yeah, we will see you guys then. If not, we will see you Sunday after All In, because we won't. I don't want to wake up early to do a pre-show.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you then. Peace out.